Hi, good evening everybody. It's Louise from Lou's Colourful Crafts here in Retford in Nottinghamshire in the UK. I'm coming to you live from my craft room. I'm quite warm and toasty, but I'm fully aware it's incredibly cold outside, so I do hope you're all warm and toasty and staying safe. We've not got any snow here in Retford, but I know Edward over in Leek has got plenty. He's had to go down shopping. Don't forget, if you are there and watching me live, to say hello, because I can't actually see what is going on. So unless somebody says hello, I'm basically talking to myself. So as you saw from the title of tonight's live, I'm introducing you to yet another thing from our Salebration. This is the mini catalogue that goes alongside the mini catalogue and the annual catalogue, and it allows us to offer you something completely free. So I'm just going to turn my camera around so you can see, and hopefully I'm going to inspire you just a little bit tonight. Hi Lorraine, hi Caroline, because to be perfectly honest, I'm going to go to this page here. I'm scrolling my way through slowly, and it really wasn't a paper that I thought, wow. This is the paper here on page 11 in Salebration. It does come with the Favoured Flowers bundle. I'm not a really florally person. I'm not really actually very fond of these great big sentiments. I'll just lift it up so you can see it a bit more clearly. I also felt it was quite a dark paper, but as I say, it is free. So I decided that actually I'd bite the bullet, challenge myself. Hopefully you can see it there. Let me pull it. Which way does it need to go? That way. Is that better? Is it focusing on it now? There we go. And I thought I'd challenge myself to actually use this paper. So I'll bring in the paper down here. It comes in 12 inch sheets, and these are the colours. You can see we've got basic black, Calypso Coral, Mossy Meadow, and they're all sorts of dahlias, rosy type, whatever. So I decided that actually I would have a play. There's and this is fresh freesia, and more together, they're definitely more roses, and there's all the colours again together. So I wasn't still very inspired, but I turned it over. Hi Elizabeth. And on the back we've got Mossy Meadow, Calypso, and I just really liked the patterns, and I thought, right Louise, let's give it a go. So hopefully tonight I'm going to inspire you to do something. Now the first thing I decided was to try and use up some of the existing products we have. These are one of my favourite dies, and I forget to use them very often. These are the Beautiful Shapes dies. Hi Mum. And they came with the Abstract Beauty kit, but the dies are still available. You've got hexagons, circles, some other swirls, and little patterns that make smaller interlocking hexagons, so you can do almost like a patchwork. Those of you who are logged on, don't forget to give me some love if you're on an iPad or something. So first of all, I then had a little look in my stash, and I discovered the Cottage Rose, and again I just thought, hang on a minute, this is quite similar, this might work. And then I got cutting, and one of the tips I want to show you with you tonight is when you're faced with some new paper and you really aren't sure what it's supposed to do. This is the Mossy Meadow. I took an ordinary piece of 6x6, so cut it into 6-inch squares rather, and I took a piece that is 10 centimetres by 14.4, and I cut it at 6 centimetres. So what you end up with are two pieces that you can then just literally grab some glue, and it's one of your favourites. How interesting. Now I've really had to get my thinking brain on, which after this morning was quite an experience, but we've survived. Yeah, I tried to do my first class this morning. Be grateful I had Caroline, because I'm not quite sure what was going on for most of the day. Anyway, so I'm just going to This is a really simple technique. It's very effective. You can do it with any paper because of course our papers are all double-sided. And then you're just going to use some glue and pop it on like so. Now, as I say, it does coordinate with one of the new suites in the mini, but I thought, no, I don't want to be seen to be buying loads and loads of things. I just want people to understand that yes, okay, you've got to spend your 45, but you could top up your stash. You don't need to buy new. And then I'm going to do something a little bit cheeky because we can't actually get this Hessian, but I just thought it went really, really well. And I'm going to use a piece of double-sided tape to go across the join. And if you are watching this, the other thing I'd like you to do is to share it so that other people can join us live, because it certainly helps me. There we go. I'm just going to trim that edge there. Double-sided tape straight across the middle, and use the take a pick to lift this one. Oh, there we go. There we go. And I'm going to, the other thing I'm going to do with this, and the other reason I like this burlap, is if you trim it like so, and you go to the other end, you can actually, I am getting tape on everything at the moment. Right, there we go. You can actually fray it, which I think makes a really nice, interesting thing just by pulling at the edges. It's not going to fray. Yes, it is. Come on, little fray machine. Oh, can't get it to go. There we go. There we go. There we go. A little bit more fray bits. Right, there we go. And I was very brave, and I even fussy cut from one of the other papers. So there we go. I'm just going to stick that right across the middle. Now I'm going to continue, now it's stuck down, just to pull at it with my take a pick, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of a haircut like so. Oops, there we go. So you can see, and then all I literally have done is fussy cut one of the big flowers from one of the other papers, and then I'm going to bring in a stamp, another one of the stamps from the annual catalogue, another one of my favourites, the Biggest Wish. You can sell, it's one of my favourites because it's in total disarray. I'm going to bring in the Happy, is that Happy? Yes, Happy and Birthday. And I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow. You like the stamp set? Ah, not the papers. Have you not got the papers yet, Caroline? You need the papers to go with the stamp sets. I've lost the Mossy Meadow ink. Here we go. There we go. So we've got Happy, Happy, and I'm embracing my inner wonk, and Birthday. There we go, like so. And then it's just a case of playing with the stamp set, the flower, by the way, of where you're going to actually pop this on. Now I'm going to pop it about there, and I'm going to pull it right across, and hopefully you can see. Now what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to be quite unorthodox here. I've not got my trimmers, so I'm actually going to fussy cut just loosely around this because I think it's too hard with all the soft edges of the flowers. And there we go. Whew. There we go, that's better. And I'm going to just literally glue that straight on. You're just getting your inspiration from me. Well, that's what it reckons it says I'm going to do. So there we go. We've got Happy Birthday, and then I'll bring in some dimensionals. You just have to make sure that's stuck and hold it while it's sticking. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this here. One, again, like I always say, not too many because it is plastic. Take those, flick those anywhere. Oh, you see, it needs to have plenty of glue. It's because of the Hessian. There we go. And I think these are directional, aren't they? There we go. Oh no, it's going to have to go round a bit, left a bit, right a bit, that way. There we go. There we go. I knew it would fit if I just wiggle it about a bit. I'm not sure that, oh no, I don't like that. I'm not sure that's not the right way up either. Hang on. I might need to just do a little bit of modification on my leaf here. Who says? There we go. There we go. That's better. And you get the general idea. And then I'm just going to bring in a few of the new gold sequins from the desert suite, and just add a little bit of bling. And there we go. And all I will do is then pop a plain piece of basic white on the inside like so, and make sure that's sort of vaguely central. And then I've got another little flower here that I've fussy cut, so I might as well use him and pop him on the inside. So there we go. That's my first card of this evening. So I've got a birthday card, not necessarily anything I would have dreamt up, and then using the same idea of cutting a piece of DSP. I'll show you another way of doing it. This time I've turned, still got the Mossy Meadow cardstock, but I've turned it on its head, so it's a card that opens this way, which is something I don't do very often. And first of all, I've got the fresh freesia, cut a piece for the inside of my card, like so. And lots of you are thinking, well, she said about the beautiful shapes, dies, they are coming into play in a while. And because I don't necessarily always want ribbon, and also if you're posting things, it's cheaper if they're not heavy and bulky. So just to add a little bit of edge, and I know it's something Caroline's been doing, I've just realised I need to change my trimmer blades. There we go. So that's the inside of my card. And then on the front, I've lost a piece. On the front, I should have another piece. Oh, there it is. So I've taken one of the DSPs. Again, you do need to make sure these are around the right way. That's the right way, I think. And I'm just, is it a paper that people have had or bought or thought, oh, I'd like some of that? Or is it something like me, you thought, no, thank you very much? And hopefully I am inspiring you. I love the background on this one. Hi Michelle. You say hello, ladies, to Michelle. She's a lovely new lady who's coming to craft with us on Saturday, and hopefully tomorrow at the scrapbook workshop. And then I've done exactly the same on the front, and just created a strip. Now on this occasion I am going to grab a little bit more of the tear and tape, and I'm going to pop it right across the middle here, because I love this fresh freesia ribbon, these sheer ribbons. And I'm just going to bring in a piece of this and stop it across right there, and snip it off to match at the sides. You could tuck it under if you remembered you were going to add it on, which I didn't, because I just saw it and I thought, oh, I was going to use that, so I will. There we go. Pop that out the way, pop that out the way, so you can see. And then all I'm going to do is, oh, I might turn it round that way so you don't lose your flowers. I'm going to bring in the cottage rose, like so, and I'm going to first of all get the small one, and I'm going to do one that says best wishes. They're really nice sentiments on the cottage rose. So, and then I'm going to also use the fresh freesia ink, as you can see. I made some thank you cards. That's really clever. Oh, it is nice. Now I've got playing with it. It's like everything. If you don't use it, you just sit there and go, oh, I don't like that. It's not me. I'm just going to stamp a little bit onto one corner, one of the flowers, like so. Oh yeah, no, that's pretty. And then I'm going to bring another block and pick up the best wishes. and I'm going to pop that up there, and then I'm going to just whiz round and grab my trimmer and just trim the little piece because it's too big. Too big. Let's just make that a bit smaller. There we go. Stick that out the way again. There we go. And then I'm literally just going to pop that. Oh, that's not straight. Let's try not rushing it. Let's get one straight. It is very, very dramatic. Right, you're not late, Joanna. I'm just not showing you how not to cut straight lines. There we go. There we go. I'm experimenting. I'm being the best independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that was ever put on the planet. And I'm just going to glue that on there. I think it could do with a little bit more. Let's have a look and see what we've got on my little piles of stamps surrounding me. No, I think what do you think? Do we think we need any more? Hi, Joanna. Do we think we need any more on there? I think we'll just go for it. I could have stamped a bit more on the front of that, I believe, but sometimes less is more. And then I've got 2 more cards if we can keep going that long to show you, because I've told you I fell in love with it. Started playing and that was fatal. There we go. Best wishes. So if you've got somebody you need to send something to, is that actually even straight now? Bit of bling. Okay, we'll have a bit of bling. Which bit of bling have I got to hand? I've had the gold. What else have I got up here? Put my bling away, Caroline. That really doesn't help. Hang on. Oh, I think we'll just have another gold. We'll have another little bit. We'll have the little golds. Oh, hang on. Look, look, look. I've just found some moons. I didn't even know they were in here. Oh, look. We can, oh, come on. I've got a moon. Oh, now I'm excited. Look. A little bit of sparkle. And a tiny little sequin down there. And then one more little tiny sequin at the top. There we go. There's a little bit of bling. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Just something different, just to show you how to use these papers that, as I say, when I first looked at them, are very dark and very dramatic. So, now, onto something completely different. Still the same sweet. I've gone for a black background. And I have taken, you see, look how stunning the backgrounds are too. This is the other side. I'm going to glue on, using my Tombow sparingly, because you don't want it squeezing out. I'm going to go on here like so, and then I have a piece of black. I'm going to do like that, and a piece of there that I'm going to do like that. But before I do that, I'm going to introduce you, let me just move this purple ink. I'm going to introduce you to one of, it is out of the new catalogue, one of my favourite stamps. It's the Love for You, and I know Michelle's just ordered this. I couldn't let you have my copy because I wanted to use it. What I'm going to do tonight is just ever so slightly different. I'm going to get the small flowers out of here. You can see I knew it is, I haven't unpeeled it yet. There we go. The tiny flower, and I'm going to introduce you to another little gift I've got. I'm going to get this black, move this out of my way. I'm going to get it on a little block, and I'm going to bring in the Versamark because I'm going to emboss onto the black. Now over here I have the new embossing editions. The link is in the comments, and we're going to have a go. Do I go silver? No, I'll show you the front of the card again. Silver, gold, or copper? Anybody got any preference? Silver, gold, or copper? See if we get any responses while I'm just setting myself up. It comes with a new little embossing buddy, which you use on your cardstock to take off any static. Silver, gold or copper? I'm thinking silver. So you need to bring your Versamark in. Silver, definitely. I'm thinking silver too, Michelle. And you stamp directly with the Versamark onto the piece of card that you want to decorate, like so. I'm just going around the edges. No point hiding it, embossing it all and then hiding it. And it has a magnificent pair of tweezers. You grab it like so. You put it over there. You put this in here. You get the silver and you give it a good liberal shake. Oh yes, this is. We thought we had new powders. They're very different to the old ones. And what they've done, you can tip it up. I always flick it. There is a brush, so if you've got bits like I have that you don't want, and then you bring in your heat tool. Let me just move that out of the way so I don't heat everything I own. There we go. And it will. Hopefully you can see the magic is happening. There it goes. And these tweezers are so good, because as you can imagine the heat tool is quite hot. There we go. What's a nice way of getting warm? There we go. I'll just take the Versamark out of the way. And I'm going to position this. I think that's going that way round, and this one is going to go slightly over it like so. Yeah, I guess that fairly. But before we do this, I'm going to bring in a stamp set from the new stamps that says "So Much Love," and I think that's lovely. So Much Love. I'm just going to grab him like this. He's a massive stamp. And I'm just looking at my blocks thinking I probably should have got a bigger one out, but I didn't. So we'll have to make him squeeze in. With these polymer ones that are slightly stretchy, if you put them face down and then pick them up with the block, it's so much easier, because otherwise you can twist them out of shape. And you find I'm going to do purple on purple on purple. I'll try it on purple, and if I don't like it I'll turn it over and do it on the other side. And again, with the bigger stamps, if you turn your ink over and you bring your ink to the stamp, it's so much more effective. Now theoretically this should fit on here just like Wonkle. There we go. So Much Love. Let's see whether we like it in purple. Oh no, because it hasn't inked up. Always got an emergency side. I don't know why it's doing that. It's because it's a new stamp. That's my own fault. What do I tell you every time? Use your grid paper, make sure your stamp is working. Now that's interesting, it's not. Right. I should be cross if mine's not working. Just occasionally you get a rogue stamp that doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do. Right. I need obviously a lot more ink. Let's try it. Otherwise you're going to have an uninked card. So Much Love. That's better. Not perfect. Don't like it. I think I'm probably about to wreck it, but we'll try. I'm trying to see if I can stamp, because it's a polymer stamp. Otherwise I won't glue this bit on, but I'll show you a photograph tomorrow of the finished card. Let's see if I can actually match this up. Take the glasses off. I mean, theoretically I should just sort of get a purpley shadow. There we go. That's actually worked out far better than I thought it might. So but we've got so much love. And then pop that out the way. That's, I'm going to get my Tombow back on again. And as I say, if you're watching live, don't forget to say hello and let me know you're out there. I'm going to pop this on at a slight angle, like so. I'm going to turn my card over and give it a good press down to make sure it's well and truly on. And then I'm going to bring the So Much Love piece in, and it's going to go on sort of about there. And I might just elevate this piece. No, I think I'll just glue it. Because the trouble is, like I said earlier on, if you add too many layers, you can't actually get them in envelopes and posted. There we go, So Much Love. And then I'm just going to bring in a very different take on, where is it? There it is. Special Day. I'm just going to bring a white piece in, grab another block. Probably tell I've got a block stash under here. It's just easier than keep changing them. And very nearly there. And then if you can tolerate me, I've got one more. I got excited, I've got one more to go. There we go. Oh, I've stopped talking, it's because I'm concentrating. There we go. And I will just bring in a matte black dot. You can't go far wrong with a matte black dot. And I'm just going to put one there and a bigger one up the top, and another little one over there. Now, there we go. There's a completely different card. Still use the purples, the papers from the flowers, but I've done something completely and utterly different. Thank you. And then, if you can bear with me, or you want him to go, I will just make the one card that I just got carried away with. You thought that was bad? This obviously would have a piece of white inside like that, and I could decorate it with some more embossed flowers. Yeah, I like the black, and I also, you can't probably see it, it's created like a shadow, so I'm really pleased with that. Now what else I've done, I've got very quickly a piece of fresh freesia. I'm going to add a piece of black. You really like the DSP? Good, I've sold it to you, Joanna. I didn't like it at all. I've quite loved it actually. I've enjoyed making these cards. Put on a piece of black, and then what I did was there we go. I used, as I say, the shapes to create a whole load of hexagons and circles, but I'm not going to use the flowers. I just wanted to show you that you can actually use the back of all of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is to grab this set here, the Cottage Rose, and I'm making a card that says Feel Better Soon. I think I ought to be making it for myself actually. And I am going to bring in the Versamark, because I do like doing this, and Feel Better Real Soon is what it actually says. So I'm going to just pop it in the middle of this big purple hexagon, and I'm going to, hopefully it's going to work. If not, I'll show you a photograph tomorrow when I've worked out how to do it. I'm going to bring in my tweezers, and I'm going to get a bit more silver powder. Which dies? These are the beautiful shapes, Joanna, from the Abstract Beauty Suite last year's, and they left it. They took the papers and the stamps away, but they left us with them. So there's a selection of hexagons, and a selection of circles, and I've decided I wanted to try and do something that wouldn't mean I needed to buy loads more new things. So I had a look at what I've got. Oh yeah, there we go, it's worked. So pop that all out the way without tipping the silver powder out. It now says feel better real soon, and I'm going to start by putting that one with the glue directly in the middle at the top. I love these hexagons. I don't know why I don't do it more often. I suppose the thing is you forget you've got everything if you're a bit like me and you've got a lot of everything. And then I'm just going to use, there's a purpley one, having said I wouldn't use the flowers, just going to make a pattern on the front, and I'm going to use a little bit of purple, and there's another one. And you can see straight away it's a completely different card. Oh, I don't like that one. There's a big florally one. Oh, there's the dark purple. Blackberry Bliss, Mossy Meadow, Fresh Freesia, and I just think it's really, really pretty. And I don't know why I thought I didn't like it. Let's find a little one of them. There we go. What do we want? One of those? No, not that one. That one? That one? What other colours have we got on here? They're a bit orange. Or what's a bit green? Ah, that one might work. Yes, let's pop that in there. And you can just build up your own patterns. So if you wanted to send this to someone who wasn't feeling brilliant, I am going to use the flowery side of that one, because it's come, there we go. And then I just need one more. Oh, there's another flower. I have a completely random flower up here. There we go. And you can see, quite simply, move those out of the way, I'll bring in these black matte dots, which again are from the annual catalogue. I'm going to take a pick and just add, might actually put the black on the black for a change. I quite like doing threes. 1, 2 and 3. And there, I promise you I'll stop waffling about this paper tonight now. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed it. That is a completely different look at this paper. I'll bring them back in. I'll just show you how this works. So just before I show you the finished cards, with your tray you unscrew its little nose. It's so much easier than trying to fold paper and aim it back in the right holes, because obviously you end up with an awful lot, and you can just, she says, let's hope it works, there it goes. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing, hang on. It goes into the tray, in it goes, and theoretically you don't lose any. And I presume you can use your brush like a big sweepy tool. Oh, you can. Oh, I could get used to this. It's not so easy than little bits of card. There we go. So those of you watching may have received some happy mail, because you may have had your catalogues. If you're a demo, thanks for watching. Hope I've given you some inspiration. Let's pop his little nose back on so I don't lose that. Pop his lid back on so I don't throw it everywhere. Dust down my table with my brush, because I always end up wearing it. There we go. Oh, I like the brush. And I'll show you tonight's cards. So we've got a Feel Better Soon, using a sentiment from the Cottage Rose. We've got a Best Wishes card. We've got a Happy Birthday. And we've got a Valentine's card. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I'll come back so you can see me. And for those of you who are interested, I have a class tomorrow at scrapbooking in Retford from 1 o'clock. I have a class on Saturday which is now full, but I am running it again on the 28th, so if anybody wants to come along on the 28th that isn't doing so, please do send me a message. Otherwise, look out for any more information on Facebook. The Global Crafting Retreat closing date is the 20th, so if you haven't signed up, please do. Other than that, thanks ever so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye!